Hey y'all, it is me, Sonja. I'm back again for another video. And this month we've been talking about practical ways to win. And this video is a little exciting because I'm knocking out two of the key relationships that I live by and that I encourage every single person to live by in their life in this video. We are going to be doing a book review on Thou Shalt Prosper, which is a book all about practical ways to gain wealth, practical ways to live life and steward your finances well, right? Now, I talk about this because I talk about this being knocking out two of my key principles or key values or relationships in life, because it does. It knocks out one, my relationship with my mind, because I love to read, and then two, it knocks out my relationship with my finances because it gives practical tips on that. So before I get too far into it, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Hey y'all, my name is Sonja of SonjaWCoaching, where we help overwhelmed, multi-passionate women really learn how to make their dreams meet reality. And we do that by helping women learn how to acknowledge their dreams, learn how to live by principle, those 6 key relationships, and then execute by process and win by practice. And that's what we've been talking about this month, okay? So let's get into it. Now, I am all about talking about this month I've been talking about practical steps towards winning at your life, right? And these are just different practices that you can do. So with this one, I'm going to talk about 2 things. One, the fact that you can knock out that principle of relationship with your mind or your mental capacity, your growth, your intellect by what I do, reading. I read voraciously. I read fiction, I read nonfiction, I read all types of books because it helps me with my creativity and it also helps with skill building. So I encourage you to begin to cultivate that relationship with your mind through reading. Just read some good books, okay? And speaking of reading some good books, we're going to go ahead and do this book review on Thou Shalt Prosper by Rabbi Lapin. I don't remember his first name. But this book was just so pivotal in really understanding how to be a good steward of your finances. And that's something that I'm always talking about with friends, being a good steward, being intentional with your finances. And I fell upon this book. Actually, I knew about this book since like 2015. I'm so ashamed. And like as I was listening to it this past month and reading it, I was like, Sonja, why did you take so long to read this book? But I think I took so long because I was supposed to read it in this season of my life. And also so that I can put together this video for y'all. Because if I had read it in 2015, then there wouldn't have been no video. Exactly. So you're welcome. Anyway, go out and get this book and read it. It is such a good read on just figuring out practical ways to think about money and wealth and business differently. It was really a refreshing read. Now I ain't gonna lie, at some points it was a little dry, but it was so worth it. And I actually want to break down how many things I got. I want to break down 4 things that I got out of this book that I think are just pivotal to having us grow in our finances and grow in the stewardship and intentional living in our finances. Okay, so let's get into it. Number 1, believe that work is inherently good. This one really tripped me out. He took a big chunk at the beginning of the book to really dispel this idea that business is bad. If you notice in everything that we do, it seems that people believe that having a business, being an entrepreneur, making money is inherently bad. And his goal was to shift our mindset on that. The fact that the Bible talks about how God, the first thing that God made man do was he gave him work to do. He had him name all the animals, right? And if it's something that God laid out for him, and we know that God is good, then that means that work is good. And that good work produces or allows you to prosper, right? So the whole point is that And he talks about how the world will make us think that work is an unnecessary evil, like we got to get it done. But actually, God is like, no, this is part of your makeup. Like, this is something that gives you fulfillment. This is something that can push you forward in the things that you are to do in life, right? So it's really about shifting our mindset around work. That work is good, period. Now we just got to figure out what our work will be and how that work will grow, right? Then this will grow us. And then the second thing is believe that building wealth is also good and necessary. He talks about how when we are given money for our services, it's validation for how well you served somebody. When you are working in anything that you do, that money that you receive, that payment that you receive is in actuality validation for the good thing that you did for them. Because work can be service. Work should be service. Even if you're not working for yourself, you are in business for yourself. And that work that you're doing, that paycheck that you get is saying, oh, okay, good. You did a good job. Here's money. But I just think that's such a major thing. He said that in Jewish thought, the more money you make shows how well you are helping the person that you're serving. So essentially, the more money you receive for the work that you are doing shows that you are doing a good service to somebody. So just thinking about your own life, the things that you do, how you think about your work and what you get to do. What does that look like? Or how much are you receiving for that? You know, I was thinking about my own journey in my work, in my career, my current career. Like, I continue to get raises. I continue to get great accolades because I work well, right? And that people see that I am doing good service for them, right? And then even in my business, when I have new clients, the more that they come back, the more I know that what I'm producing is providing something good for people, right? So just thinking about that in your own life, right? Look at your own career. If you have a business, look at your business. How are you helping people? And what is your compensation saying about what you're receiving? Okay? So, or what you're doing, not what you're receiving. What does your compensation say about what you are doing or how you are serving people? Okay. Then the third thing, now this was kind of interesting. He said, well, all of them are interesting, but this one, he said, people are not consumers. We should never call the people we serve consumers because no one truly is only consuming. And that was a real change in thinking, because what do we call, what does the marketing place calls people? Consumers. They're consuming content. And if they consume your content, then you're doing a good thing, right? But the whole premise of this consumer thing means that, so can mean that a person is a leech. A person is just taking. But there's always a give and take, right? There's always some type of feedback. You giving, you do expect something in return, right? Or it's not always just one-sided. And the way he talked about it. He said that we are actually creators because we are made in the image of the creator. So, I was just thinking about, like, it's so mind blowing to even think about the fact that we are creators because, well, this is actually a side note for me. So the fact that he had said that we are actually creators because we're made in the image of a creator resonated with me, because that's something that I even think about or struggle with, right? Because I think I'm a nerd. My career currently is a health statistician. Like, I love numbers. I love organization and project management and stuff like that. And I am conditioned to think that I'm not creative. But when I think about the fact that I am an image bearer of God, I do have creativity in me, right? And that resonated with me in the book because that's something that I'm working out in my own heart. So I would encourage you to know that you're a creator as well, because you are made in the image of a creator. Excuse me. Now, to go back to this whole idea, when we call people consumers, then we have a negative connotation about that. But when we realize that there's kind of like a give and take between the people that we serve and the people that we serve and the people that serve us, then we can understand that there's something more that's happening. It's not that you're creating something and they're taking, but but you're creating something and they're interacting with it. And what happens is, with them either providing you with funds or maybe they're transforming their lives, that is the compensation. That is what's happening. So we are not consumers. And then the final thing, and this one really got me. He said, never retire. Now that one, I said, now that's what we live for, right? We supposed to live to retire, to stop working. But he said, I love this. He was actually kind of likening it to sports. He said that if a baseball player, when he's up to bat, you know how you don't really know much about sports and you got to think through what you're going to say? That's what just happened there. But anyway, a baseball player, he's up to bat, right? When he swings that bat at that ball, he goes all the way through, right? He may even stand in a certain stance for a little bit as the ball, as he hits the ball and the ball goes to wherever it goes, right? He said that if a baseball player or a golfer, right? You always see those golf folks. I don't know how to do it. Is it this way? I don't know what to do. But anyway, you see those golfers swing and they hold the golf club. There we go. In a certain manner, right? Because they have that follow through. Because they're hitting that ball through the target. They're looking past the target when they hit the ball, when they throw a basket in basketball, when they throw the football in football, they're throwing past the target, right? But what if these people actually just threw or hit the ball right at the target? What's going to happen? They may not give it the same amount of strength that they need to get it to where it needs to go. They may not actually allow it to get to the target because they're slowing up on their swing, or they're slowing up on the end of the follow through, and then it may not hit the goal. That's the same way that he was thinking about when he talked about retirement. Retirement, you looking at this date. I'm going to retire at a certain amount of days and years, and then I'm not working. I'm not doing another thing. That means that you're going to begin to slow up way before that. Just like a person, if they didn't swing through the target, they're going to have to slow up. They're going to try to ease back off of that. You're going to start to ease back off the gas coming near to the end of your career, because you're like, I'm going to be done at 65. So why am I working hard at 64? And then that causes you to lose the earning potential that you could have had. And then he also talked about things that as you stop in motion or stop working, things start to deteriorate, right? Like if you start to stop not working, you're going to start to slow down. Then your body's going to start to slow down. And you know what? I feel like this is kind of like that anecdotal thing. Like I've heard this before, where sometimes people will retire and then like 2, 3, 6 months later, they're, really, really sick. Or they're, not functioning as well because they're not working their body like they used to. Now, I'm not saying that, you're supposed to work the same job until you die. I'm not saying that, you continue in the same place, but there should not be this mindset that you're just going to stop working. There should always be some place next that you're going to go. Because remember, the first thing, work is not bad. Work is good. Right? And then also you want to have that vitality until the day you die. And that work is going to help you do it. Perhaps maybe you do philanthropy work after your career, or maybe you become a consultant where you only work when you feel like it. What was I going to say? Nonetheless, that is the word. It's so important that you're thinking that you do not stop. He talked about how this idea, this magic age, you'll begin to slow down your progress, like I mentioned before. So don't retire. I don't think I'm going to retire either. I don't know what I'm going to be doing when I'm 70 or 80, but I'm going to still be doing something. So I encourage you to think about that and go pick up that book. I think it will change your mind about money. And I think it will change your mind about how you think about work and all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, these are just some practical things that really stuck out to me, but there was so much more in that book. I really encourage you to get it and really be thinking about how can you cultivate that relationship with your finances, a good relationship with your finances, and how can you cultivate that relationship with your mind, because when you're able to do that, man, it's going to transform your life. All right, so I hope that was good for you. I hope that gave you everything that you needed this month, this week, this day. Really take the time to think about what you think about wealth and work and see if you can have that mindset shift. There we go. That mindset shift towards learning how to work and know that work is good. So anyway, I hope you had a good time with me this week. Definitely check me out next week because we're here every Thursday, every single Thursday. All right, y'all? Have an awesome, awesome day wherever you are.